Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Restoring Hope with Crosswinds Counseling. I'm your host, Curtis Smith. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And of course, a tremendous thanks to our community partners, Prime 47 Downtown, Shepherd Community Center, and Tesco. Without the support of those organizations, we would not be with you each and every Thursday night at 9:30 right here on WHMB TV 40. Well, of course, we've got a great show for you tonight as we focus in for the first time on one of those community partners, Tesco. Our first guest is Angel Castellanos. He is an employee with Tesco and a first-generation U.S. citizen. Angel, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We mention Tesco each and every week here on Restoring Hope, but really just to mention the name, a lot of folks may not know what Tesco does. What does Tesco do?
Yeah, so Tesco is a civil site design and engineering firm. We mainly focus on the development of commercial properties and the land surveying behind that. So we play hand in hand with a lot of construction projects.
Yeah, I would imagine all kinds of different projects.
Oh, yeah.
And you're a project manager.
Yes, sir.
So what does that mean? Could you one day be working on what versus what? Like, what are some widely different things that you get to do?
To give you some insight, currently I'm working on a Raising Cane's project coming up in Noblesville. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's all the buzz going around right now.
Nice.
It's the new fast food restaurant from Kentucky, fried chicken, pretty much. On top of that, it takes me from fast food places to semi-warehousing to almost just residential properties, people wanting their property lines marked. So it's a grand scope of things for sure.
And as a project manager, I assume you can get your hands into just about anything, right?
Oh,
At the end of the day, the buck kind of stops with you, doesn't it? So what does that mean? What is a day on a Raising Cane's project, on a fast food project, day to day? What does that mean? What are you actually doing?
I am pretty much organizing a team of field members, which includes myself and Reese, who you'll get to interview here shortly.
Yeah.
And we go out to the site where the Raising Cane's is going to erect, essentially, and we mark out everything and anything on the site itself. So we'll go from marking the sidewalks, the curbs, the storm and sanitary inlets coming in and out of the property itself. We'll mark building corners and anything else that they kind of need on the project.
Yeah. I mentioned that you're a first-generation U.S. citizen. Where are your parents from?
Mexico.
Jalisco. And you tell me about getting to America. They came here before you were born, I assume?
Yes. Yeah. They actually traveled to California when they were roughly in their teenage years and applied for citizenship during their younger years before they had me at that time. And I was luckily born in California at the time, born in Berkeley. So with that, I was granted my U.S. citizenship. So yeah.
Is that, tell me the mindset of your parents, your grandparents, having you born in America. What did that mean to them? Was it a sense of pride, or are they?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they're glad you were born here.
You know, I think the United States provides a lot of people with hope and opportunity to kind of chase after your dreams and really persevere in a place that's obviously a lot harder for a lot of people, but like I said, they have more chances to overcome a lot of the complex stuff that they face in their own countries. So, but yeah.
Do you get back to Mexico much?
Oh, as often as I can.
A lot of family still there? And they feel the same way about America, good relations there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think America has a good light across the world, I like to believe, so.
Good, because we don't always hear that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you tune into the news, you hear the bad things.
Right. Angel, let's talk about mental health. It's our focus here on Restoring Hope. These last couple of years, as you've been out project managing all kinds of different things through the pandemic, what has that been like for you to see how the world has changed? We've all talked about that so much. The world has changed and things are so different than they used to be. What does that look like in your day-to-day life?
I think the pandemic definitely dampened a lot of stuff going on just in general life. But in the realm of construction and project management, it didn't slow anything down. You know, it was full gears moving on. Yeah, there was COVID and having a quarantine and all that. But I mean, construction projects did not halt whatsoever, and people were still on these sites working day in and day out, whether they had masks or whatever protective gear they needed to get the work done. So I think that was really important to note that everyone always says COVID, halted all these industries, but construction was the one that kept moving.
Yeah. the supply chain issues that have impacted so much of the world, I assume, had a large impact on you and your work.
Definitely. Not directly with what I do, but it definitely affected just having to get resources onto any job site at that point. You know, a lot of concrete was delayed, and that kind of affected us because we do concrete stakeouts when we mark out the curbs and the sidewalks. Well, we can go out there and market it within 2 or 3 days, but they won't get their concrete for another 4 or 5 months, you know? So it definitely dampened a lot of schedules for sure in construction, but people were still out there working.
Yeah. When I think of your generation, one of the things I think about is so many studies show that people of your age are all about purpose and meaning, finding that in their work. And when you are doing so many different things in so many different arenas, I wonder if that's a challenge for you, or what is it about what you do that allows you to draw that purpose?
Yeah, I think my favorite thing of what I do in project management is going to a job site where you get sent to a remote location in the middle of Indiana, and it's just nothing but trees and fields, and you're out there surveying and staking out stuff, and then within a year or two, you'll end up going back to that site, and there's just a newly developed building, essentially, or a newly developed just architecture that gets involved. And it's really nice to see a project from beginning to end and being involved in that, because I catch myself driving around town with friends or my siblings and stuff, and I'll be like, you see that building over there? You see that construction site over there? You know, like, I had a hand in that. I helped stake it out. I helped design such and such on this site. So I think that's where I drive a lot of my purpose and draw a lot of what makes me proud of doing the job I do, essentially.
I was just thinking of the word pride. You've got to be full of pride when
Definitely.
you see that kind of raising up of the community.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Angel, thank you so much for being part of the Tesco family and for what you guys mean to us here at Restoring Hope, and thanks for being with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with another member of the Tesco family. Welcome back. I'm Curtis Smith, your host, and now with Reese Kizer, second member of the Tesco family to be joining us tonight. Reese is an intern at Tesco. Reese, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your internship at Tesco. What has that looked like for you?
It's kind of a wide variety of things. About half the time I'm out in the field surveying, and then the other half of the time I'm in the office doing anything from changing light bulbs to working in Excel, and so, yeah.
So some of it is traditional intern work, like are you getting coffee and being yelled at?
They don't allow me to get the coffee, but yes.
And I assume no one's actually yelling at you at Tesco?
No.
Okay, good. Second summer spent with Tesco as an intern. What drew you back in for a second year?
Well, I enjoy working my first summer with Tesco. It was a little different than what I actually wanted to do, but you know, it got me out in the field, and I enjoyed being outside. And yeah, they asked me to come back, and I did.
Tell me about that, because I think a lot of us can relate to being in college and not being 100% sure of what we want to do, or maybe thinking, I want to do this, and then something comes along and your path changes a little bit. So what did you have your mind focused on, and what has Tesco showed you that might have been slightly different than the path you thought you'd be on?
Well, at IU, I'm double majoring in finance and business analytics, and kind of want to go somewhere in like a stock analyst kind of role after college. And so engineering and construction is completely different from what I want to do, but it just let me see a different side of things, like whether I might be managing something, but seeing how things are built and like from the ground up is pretty cool. So.
There's a real truth to the fact that those things, business, finance, administration, good management skills are needed in every industry, in every venue. Does it cause you to think, oh, maybe I could branch out and do something different with this degree when I'm done?
Yeah, so finance goes through like a lot of different areas. I mean, finance is in every job, so it kind of opened my eyes to see that like there is other avenues to go to, other than going to Wall Street or something like that. So.
You mentioned IU. You're in the Kelley School of Business. That's very impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Starting your sophomore year here. And What is that experience like? Because a lot of us Hoosiers, we hear so many great things about the Kelly School of Business. Very few of us actually attended it. What is it like to be in there day in, day out in class?
Well, it's really interesting because I went to Park Tudor High School, which is obviously pretty competitive.
Yeah.
But, people from all over the country and even the world come to the Kelly School of Business. So just being able to learn from other perspectives and, still getting that competitive, spirit out of, everything. So if it's a school project or, a peer program or something like that, it's tough, but it's cool.
Our focus here is obviously mental health, and so many times we end up talking about the mental health impact of the last couple of years, the pandemic on students and young people, and you've lived that. The pandemic, I think, probably started right at your last year of high school and kind of bridged the gap there, high school to college.
Yeah, it started spring of my junior year.
Yeah. What was that like? What have the last few years been like for you? I hear a lot of 40, 50, 60-year-olds telling me what it's like for 20-year-olds, but what was it actually like for you to go through?
Well, I remember my baseball team has a big Tennessee trip over spring break every year. And the pandemic started hitting, and we heard that they were going to cancel the trip. And so we were all kind of, as a team, petitioning, can we still go? And we didn't really understand the magnitude of the pandemic and what was coming. And so that was obviously difficult because I had my junior baseball season canceled. And from there on, just different events that were usually scheduled for my senior year, we weren't allowed to do, or they were adjusted in some way to make it more healthy and safe for everyone involved. But so it definitely threw a curveball at us, and but headed in the right direction for sure.
And from a societal perspective, when you think about the way that you interact with your friends and colleagues and fellow students, how has that been impacted by the pandemic? What have you seen in your social groups? What have you seen on campus as you've gone through this, and now as we're hopefully kind of coming out of it?
Well, there's definitely more of a divide, I would say, just as you see in politics and everything on the news. Just some people have opinions, other people have other opinions, and just trying to work around those to get the job done or just hang out as a group of friends has been interesting. And other than that, not too much different.
Our guest last week was Dr. Andy Mellon, and he was talking to me about the importance of working for an organization that isn't just skilled, but it's focused on the soft skills, or as he called them, the success skills of being a good person, of being dependable, accountable. You work at an organization that values those things, Tesco. What do you see day in, day out that goes beyond business that makes you want to be a part of the Tesco family and makes them so special?
Well, Tesco is a small company, but I think where we lack in numbers, we really strive in the family aspect of business. They always have my back. They're asking me when school starts, all this type of stuff. And, just knowing that they're in my corner is really different from, I think, a lot of bigger businesses. So.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Reese, thank you so much. I know that we're new into the school year here. Good luck during your sophomore year at the Kelly School of Business. Thank you for being with us, of course, tonight. Thanks for being part of the Tesco family and part of our Restoring Hope family.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Each week here on Restoring Hope, we bring you our Beacon of Hope segment. Tonight, Crosswinds Vice President Rob Eicher, who we interviewed a few weeks ago, joins us to talk about finding hope in God.
Hi, I'm Rob Eicher, the Vice President at Crosswinds Counseling, and I want to talk to you a little bit about hope. So hope is the expectation that something you desire or strongly long for is going to happen. So the desire that what you want to happen is going to happen. And in our world, a lot of times that hope is taken away. And that it can be in your marriage, it can be with your kids. Maybe you've got a teenager that your desires for and what you had hoped for The expectations of what you wanted to happen aren't happening. And so I want to talk a little bit about how to maintain your hope and where my hope comes from. Psalm 73, 25 and 26 say, "Who do I desire in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." So I want to focus on that part, that God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Portion can also be translated inheritance. We have received an inheritance. I've received an eternal inheritance that I can enjoy now and for eternity. And if God is the strength of my heart, if I have a relationship with Him, that trumps everything else that goes on in my life. It trumps struggles in marriage. It trumps financial difficulties. It trumps all of the pressures of this world that push on us. If Jesus is our treasure, if God is our inheritance, that doesn't change, and we can enjoy Him forever. So that's why I have hope that is everlasting. It doesn't get taken away. My expectation, what I long for, is Him, and I can enjoy Him every day. He is what gives me hope, and I hope that you have that hope as well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but you want to know more, feel free to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Would love to talk to you about the eternal hope that we can have. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Restoring Hope with Crosswinds Counseling. Marriage is hard work, and sometimes we can all use a little help making sure our marriage is all that we want it to be. In our Counseling Corner segment tonight, Phil Erickson tells us about his approach to marriage counseling.
Hi, my name is Philip Erickson, and I'm one of the licensed therapists here at Crosswinds Counseling. Now, I've been reliably informed by some people a lot smarter than me who know data and facts and things about our website and all the tech stuff, that a lot of people who've been going to our website have been searching for some common theme, and it tends to be something geared around marriage. Specifically, the word marriage itself is a common search word that is used on our site. And that happens to be a great thing for me because I love marriage and I love marriage counseling. In fact, that is the passion that I have in therapy. I love to work with clients who are trying to rebuild and reconnect in their marriage. I went on Amazon and I bought this gavel here, this little thing, and I spent actual money on this thing for this exact purpose. And I bring up this thing just for that in marriage counseling. And I give this kind of analogy here. I say, if your spouse were to upset you or do something that hurts you, could you become their defense attorney and make a case and defend them in a court of law? And in that court, there's a judge that's a clone of you that's very upset. And there's a jury. All the jury are all clones of you that are very upset, and they are ready to convict your spouse. But in that courtroom, as your spouse's defense attorney, can you make a case and provide some reasonable doubt, some benefit of the doubt as to why they didn't do this thing on purpose to hurt you? Why, whatever it may be, maybe they were just exhausted or tired or fatigued, or they just made an honest human error or mistake. And reminding yourself that you know that they love you and care about you, and why. I'd love to ask this question. Why would your spouse do that on purpose? You know, many times in marriage counseling, I tell people, look, there is no villain in this room here. There is no one with the goatee and the maniacal laughter trying to crush the other person's soul. Almost all marital conflicts are just mistakes or errors that are unintentional. And so I use these kind of analogies here, and most marital therapists were trying to do that as well. And it's just trying to bring you back to reconnecting and believing in your spouse. Bringing back that joy. And usually we have you do some fun stuff, some encouraging things. It's not all torturous. It's not all conflict resolution. In fact, that is a part of it, but a lot of it is underlying there, and it's usually a lot of fun, can be exciting. At least I try to make it that way. So I will tell you that if any of these things are something that you're working on, that you need some guidance or some help in your marriage, make sure to just give us a call, contact. And look, my name is Philip Erickson. If you want to meet with me or one of our many awesome marital therapists here, go ahead and give us a call, and we would love to help you out in the needs that you have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil. Making sure our marriages are strong is one of the most important things we can be doing in society today. Well, as we close tonight, some thank yous to hand out. Thank you for all of you joining us tonight, and huge thanks to our sponsors, Prime 47 Downtown, Shepherd Community Center, and Tesco, of course, who we highlighted tonight. And I want to remind you tonight that Crosswinds Counseling is hiring. We need good men and women all over the state. In fact, now into Ohio. There are venues in Indianapolis, in Northern Indiana, and in Dayton, Ohio for counselors to use their skills to make a real difference. And the need for mental health services has never been higher across our state, across the Midwest, and across our entire country. So if you are a counselor in need of a job, go to crosswindscounseling.org/careers. Perhaps you know someone that would be a good fit for Crosswinds Counseling. Please pass that website on to them, crosswindscounseling.org/careers. We would love to have great people join the Crosswinds family. We need them as counselors and therapists. We also need them in the office setting as well. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight. It is great to be with you every Thursday night on WHMB TV 40. We will be right back here next Thursday night at 9:30. We'll see you then. Until then, have a great week, stay safe, and be blessed.